Hey, David, these welfare check requests have really been piling up lately, haven't they? Huh. Look at this. See this right here? Look. 5 different requests in the past 2 days. Whatever the hell is going on over there has really been picking up quite a bit in the past few months.
Yeah, getting crazy over there.
On top of all that, we've received a growing number of calls and tips about missing persons all across the country who've supposedly been seen in and around Hyades province. The most recent sighting being of Miss Madison Hazelden. An unknown incident apparently occurred at her cabin near Innsmouth Creek. The property was found in a state of complete disarray, with the rear entrance being completely caved in.
I heard about that one. At least we got sightings of Miss Hazelden now. Ah, damn it.
You are right, at least there's that. I mean, there's no reports on a friend who also vanished that night. What was the name? Here it is, Yuri Morrison, that's right. Apparently a long-time companion of hers, according to this. There were tracks in the snow for miles, leading from a cabin to the sides of I-90, heading towards Hyades. One pair that was obviously human, boot tracks easily. But then there was something else ahead of them though, looked almost like motorcycle tires. Only the biker seems to have like a trail of dangling confetti or a bunch of snakes behind him. This report makes so little sense. Foul play is highly in question here.
Yeah. Alright, let's get to jumbling. If we could just take out this Kraken, we'll close out this game for sure.
David, are you listening to me?
Oh, so close. The Lyra almost got me.
David, deputy, for heaven's sake, man, have you been listening at all? Just because we're dealing with Bennett Inc. doesn't mean you can sit around and play games on the damn job.
I'm listening, John. It's just... You know this is a goose chase. The department thinks this is a joke.
Oh, no,
Honestly,
no. Not this again. Don't even go...
Why else would they give this project to us? I've only been on the force for 3 months. What could I possibly contribute? Everyone believes it's just a bunch of video game fanatics in some kind of Disneyland town where they can do all kinds of tournaments and conventions and...
But are you forgetting that I'm also undercover here? Yeah, I can tell you firsthand that there are some shady dealings going on. There is an extensive list of developers, distributors, magazines, and even CEOs that have ties or even currently reside in Hyades. A lot of influential figures in one place, and you know where there's a ton of money and power.
There's corruption. Is that always the case, though? I mean, what could they be doing? Honestly. Kidnapping people to playtest video games for free? The horror.
I've come into contact with several people who are members of that organization. As you know, I've given up stakes in my own studio to try and get a feel for how they operate.
So, you did go through with that after all. Wasn't Super Peach Games actually your sister's game studio, though?
David, it was ours. We both have a stake in it. I helped her with the initial loans, posed as the current lead, allowing me to get into all of these development and investor meetings personally. However, Bennett Inc. has been very eager to work with us, as they are with most upcoming studios. They seem to have an exorbitant amount of bargaining resources. They afforded us the latest equipment, an extensive marketing campaign, even handling the distribution fees, you know.
No kidding. Your game must look very promising. Sounds like they really aren't sparing any expense now that you're a subsidiary of theirs.
The thing is, David, I love my sister, but the game is mediocre at best. It's got a lot of heart, but there's no way companies would try so hard to give it the time of day that it's getting. The kicker is, they do this with most studios they come into contact with. It's like some sort of attempted vicious assimilation of various parts of the gaming industry. The question is, why? Is it a laundering scheme?
It's possible. I remember reading that the Pirate Bandit was once employed at Sanders Associates, a weapons company if I'm not mistaken. Maybe they still have a stake in the industry, but off the grid?
I've considered it, but a lot of these things just don't add up if we lean to that conclusion. We'll need these next few operations to go smoothly.
I agree. If it weren't for all the complaints our department has been getting, they'd have shut this operation a long time ago. How much faith do you have in those perps, by the way?
Pan and Ray are incredibly cunning. They know how to get to the places that they need to be and talk themselves out of practically anything. Unless there's overwhelming evidence against them, I think we give them a good deal. However, I've nonetheless prepared a contingency plan in case that they skip town.
Oh, do you have someone else?
Sort of. He's kind of an old contact of mine. Editor at the Armitage Times video games column over in Miskatonic. He's been correlating his experiences with Bennett Inc. with me over the phone. They've taken quite an interest in him. His recounts match up a good deal with others who have dealt with him before. He is definitely a prospect in their eyes. But we'll see how it pans out. Until then, back to looking over these dossiers.
About Darkest Dungeon. Darkest Dungeon is a challenging gothic RPG about the stresses of dungeon crawling. You will lead a band of heroes on a perilous side-scrolling descent, dealing with a prodigious number of threats to their bodily health, and worse, a relentless assault on their mental fortitude. 500 feet below the earth, you will not only fight unimaginable foes, but famine, disease, and the stress of the ever-encroaching dark. Darkest Dungeon focuses on the humanity and psychological vulnerability of the heroes and asks, what emotional toll does a life of adventure take? Darkest Dungeon is not a game where every hero wins the day with a shiny armor and a smile. It is a game about hard trade-offs, nearly certain demise, and heroic acts. Tactical, strategic, and deceptively deep, the combat in Darkest Dungeon combines nostalgia with the elegance of modern design. It will challenge you in fresh new ways. Party order is crucial for setting up attacks, but it can also expose your heroes to threats. At all times, you must juggle the need to do damage with the importance of protecting the health and minds of your party members. Train, upgrade, and adjust your loadout with provisions, trinkets, to find the right combination of skills, together with camping skills, holding your party into a 4-person monster-wrecking special forces team. About the heroes. Heroes, or adventurers, are the characters used by the player when assembling parties and expeditions to explore dungeons. They are divided into several classes, specializations that define their appearance and abilities. Each character has different skills and can fill different roles in combat. Each class also has unique bugs as a reaction to many situations. Different heroes from the same class have the same base stats and can access the same skills. They differ by what they have learned and, more importantly, what quirks they have. Characters are available to be recruited free of charge through the Stagecoach, where they are generated with a random name, set of quirks, and class. Pre-made heroes are also available. Some examples of these hero classes include the Abomination. Introduced in the Inhuman Bondage update, the Abomination is a powerful, versatile shape-shifting fighter. He can cause blight and stun, while also dealing non-negligible damage from the 2nd and 3rd ranks, and heal his own stress and health in human form. But what makes this hero class very special is that it can also transform into a beast form to deal a good amount of damage from the front ranks. Another unique feature of this class is the fact that all his abilities are available from his base level and always active. Which ones are available depends on his current form. On the dark side, an Abomination does not fit in parties with the religious classes, like Vestal, Crusader, Leper, and Flagellant, which leaves him with limited options. Also, using transformation into beast form inflicts a respectable amount of stress on all party members, which is not compensated by stress heal when transforming back into human form. Nevertheless, a party can be built to cope with these disadvantages, typically including an occultist and a decent stress healer. The occultist is a support class who specializes in using powerful debuff spells on the enemy while healing allies. He has low health, deals low damage, and occasionally his powers may backfire. But when his Eldritch Curses work, they work well. With his vulnerability hex, he softens up enemies for your heavy hitters to take down. The fact that the hex marks the target makes him an excellent ally of the Bounty Hunter, Arbalist, and Houndmaster. What's more, his weakening curse can quickly nullify even the hardest hitting enemy, A few stacks of Weakening Curse will entirely nullify the attacks of an enemy, making it deal 0 damage. Worth noting is that although the Occultist has low attack damage, and most of his attacks have damage penalties on top, they do all have a high critical strike chance. Given any kind of critical boost through trinkets or effects, the Occultist has a good chance of inflicting heavy damage and increasing morale, particularly with his one physical attack, Sacrificial Stab, which has a significant critical strike chance base of 10%. His bonus damage to Eldritch can also be very effective in the Cove. All in all, the Occultist is a highly specialized character that can easily fail a party not set up to get the most out of him. Supporting the right characters and using his dark powers carefully, however, he is an extremely powerful ally.
Gotta rep the city, chase a chick, never chase a bitch, chase no bitch. Mask on, fucking mask on, mask on, fucking mask on, Percocet, Miley Percocet, chase a chick, never chase a bitch, chase no bitch. 2 cups, toast out with the gang, from food stamps to a whole nother domain. Out the bottom, I'm a living proof, so ain't compromising. $500,000 on the coupe, drug houses, looking like Peru. Graduated, I was overdue.